Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. It's lovely to have your company again today. Now in my last video I spoke about the books that I was going to write that's based on the play Tempus that we created for the West End several years ago now. So I thought today would be quite good to read for you the draft chapter, the first draft chapter of the first book in the Tempus series, and it's called Mabon and Yule. And like I explained, Mabon is the equinox festival, the autumn equinox festival, and Yule is the solstice, winter solstice festival for the pagan people. So in this book there are Druids, so it's for them. So the reason I'm doing this is because I would love to have your feedback. I think it's really important that once we start writing books, that we get as much feedback as possible. Now, in the past, I belonged to a writers group where we would go and read bits of our books to everybody, and then we would give each other feedback, and it was a wonderful thing. But the group no longer exists, so I thought I'd put it out there for you, my wonderful friends, and see if you would like to give me feedback and help me to make this a fantastic book for us all to enjoy. So I'm going to read it. If I look down, I'm reading it on my computer, so that's what I'm doing. So let's get started, shall we? So as I say, this is the draft chapter, chapter 1, and it's called Dian Jones, the Archdruid. Through the open window, the reassuring aroma of wood smoke weaves into my chamber, mingling with the sounds of my clan. It creates a strange harmony that always comes before a festival. My hands ache with the strain of my work, but I rise, drawn to the life outside. I've done all I can for today. The seams will hold, for now. The work is brutal, I can't deny it. What makes it worse is the loneliness that accompanies it. I can't share this with anyone now, and I miss my beloved with a pain that goes far beyond the physical. We shared everything, including my work, but uppermost was our deep love for each other. The pendant on my chest touches the symbol there, which smoulders like a lingering memory. My beloved, you'd laugh if you saw me now, fully immersed in working with the immaterial. But it's not your voice, your laughter I miss. It's your light. When I run my hands through my hair as I get up, I notice the sweat from the effort it took to seal the dimensions today. It's getting more difficult now, which is to be expected. But I will prevail. The seams between dimensions held. But for how long? I force the dark thoughts from my mind. Tonight is meant for celebration. Facing the forest, I watch the thin white ribbons from the fires curl through the trees. I've always loved our festivals. That most of the younger clan members want to abolish the old traditions appalls me. The newcomers and their infighting fatigue me more than I'm willing to admit to anyone but myself. But we need them, and they need us. Though I haven't given in to the physical ravages of aging, perhaps it is just my advancing years catching up with me. Instead, I find solace in nature and the sounds of my guitar. I pick it up from where it stands near the window and, gliding my fingers over the frets, play what I call a humming tune. It soothes my troubled soul somewhat. But I'm aware that outside, the fun has already started. Laughter bursts from the grove, punctuating the steady drumbeat, while clusters of younger druids chase shadows in the firelight, their voices piercing the air with excitement. It's a sharp reminder of merrier, more carefree times. Tendrils of sadness still sit in my chest, but I can't help smiling. I strum along to the hypnotic beat of the drums that start gently and build into a steady crescendo. The sound mimics the red-hot embers that start small and turn into the fury of the bonfire. As the fire grows, so does the light and heat spreading throughout the center of the clearing in the trees. The sacred flames carry tones of burning wood, pine needles, herbs, incense, cinnamon and apples. My eyes follow the smoke curling up into the darkening sky, weaving, dancing, reaching for the pinpricks of stars strewn upon the velvet expanse high above us. I'm grateful we can see them tonight. Clouds cover them more often than not. Light from the waning full moon of 2 days ago, and lights through the branches from the tree houses where most of my clan now live, add to the wonderment of the festival. The fire's crackling accompanies the drone of the drums that have died down into a hum, and the crooning of a flute carried to my ears on the gentle caress of the breeze. Fun visions and memories flash across my mind from my childhood and through the years. These festivals have never lost their magic for me. In the clearing, firelight flickers on the masked dancers, casting long shadows that pulse like fiery spirits. Feathers in their hair gleam, their colours otherworldly. Masks made of wood and leaves painted, each symbol marking a dedication, a prayer to the green man who guards our traditions, the god of our Mien celebration. Nearby, at the massive sacred oak tree, more druids have formed a circle around a cauldron. The mix of lavender, sage, yarrow, elderberry, mugwort, rosemary and bay leaves drift from their bowl and add its wonderful aroma to the festivities. The druids start the age-old ritual to venerate the ancient gods and goddesses. They wave incense as they intone the chants no one understands anymore after all these years. Their words join the smoke that floats up to the heavens like slender fingers, carrying with it their wishes for a better world for all. Anticipation and excitement colour the air, and I can't help but smile at seeing my clan members getting together for this joyous occasion. I'm filled with hope. The time has come. I grab my staff and cloak before heading outside to join them, my long tunic rustling as I move. My staff strike the stone steps in a comforting rhythm as I make my way outside and pull close the heavy wooden door of the ancient building that has become my home. Walking down the short lane from my front door to the forest increases my anticipation. As I approach the festival, I'm overwhelmed by the vibrant colours swirling around me. People dance around the fire in a frenzy of delight. The atmosphere is electric with energy and joy. Cheerful voices, filled with laughter, echo through the trees as people greet each other and newcomers with embraces and kisses on both cheeks. My eyes temporarily smart from the wood smoke, but the wonderful scents and aromas soon make up for any discomfort. Someone hands me a beaker of apple cider, and I take a sip. The delicious tart liquid trickles down my throat, lingers on my tongue, then mingles with the taste of the aromatic air. I walk towards the druid circle, but notice my son standing to the side, alone, watching the goings-on. The tree he leans against shades him somewhat, but he's a light unto himself and shines with a force even he can't hide. People are naturally drawn to him, as they've always been to me, and I know he'll make a formidable archdruid one day when he has to take on my mantle. First, he must win and assume the role of high priest when the time is right. I love Leo more than life and want to be proud of the man he's becoming. But I fear something isn't quite right, and I haven't been able to put my finger on it. I will abide by the old laws. I will not subject him to magical scrutiny. Not yet. I'm a patient man. Time will reveal the truth. As I watch, young Anyara approaches him. She's a lovely girl, a great herbalist scholar, and something more, I feel. A seer, perhaps? Her skill will be hugely beneficial to our clan and anyone else who might need her help. Leo could do far worse than pairing himself with Anyara. She seems shy, so it must have taken courage for her to approach him. She touches his arm, and though their words are swallowed by the cacophony around us, it's clear she's inviting him to dance with her. But he shakes his head and turns away from her, crossing his arms over his muscular chest. My sigh is that of a father who wants the best for his son. Leo could definitely work on his manners around others. He appears petulant. Poor Anyara seems deflated as she slinks away into the shadows, her desire for dancing apparently evaporated. I'll wait for the perfect moment to speak, perhaps tomorrow, before the meeting. Another sip of the cider warms me from the inside out. But just as I'm about to join the Druid circle, I notice Zira approaching Leo. I stop and meld into the shadows. Zira ambles towards Leo and stands next to him, ostensibly sharing in his mood. She's smart. She lingers just close enough to Leo, her smile a dark strand beneath the bright embers. She's waiting, I realize, for his attention, like a spider patiently waiting for its prey. Leo holds his composure, barely, a tenuous thread between tolerance and something darker. I watch him clenching his jaw. But Zira's plan works. It's not long before Leo glances at her. She continues to stare straight ahead, pretending not to notice. Leo is taller than most, taking after my father, and when he leans over to her, his shoulder almost touches her ear. I see his lips moving, his breath displacing the tendrils of her hair as he speaks above her head. She nods, still without looking at him. Her game is good, I'll give her that, because he turns towards her, puts his hand under her chin and lifts her face so she has to look at him. They're old enough to be Leo's mother. The High Priestess has made her intentions quite clear regarding my son. I'm not against any private liaisons they may have, but I know only too well how dangerous Zira is. I feel the sides of my mouth pull into a grimace. The memory of her voice in my head says words I've often heard her say. Not dangerous, dear Diane. You mistake my fierceness and goddessness for something else. But I'm not convinced her interest in Leo is purely carnal. Zira always has an ulterior motive for everything she does. I've long suspected her interest in Leo has more to do with her furthering her power through a son born of Leo's essence. Such a child will not only become Archdruid, but will bring Zira the prestige she apparently craves. But I'm not overly concerned about such a possibility. The way children were conceived and birthed in the age-old ways of our ancestors has not happened for many years. Now it's the norm for babies to be born in laboratories, often with special instructions as to their physicality, talents, and intellectual abilities. Those who didn't satisfy had to make their own way in the world. I only have to look around me at the younger Druids to see the consequences of the undesirable laboratory born. Leo is an exception. Just one more reason he's so special. His surprising arrival caused quite a commotion. Our clan regarded my beloved as a genuine goddess, and my status as Archdruid, the first such position held for millennia, was sealed throughout our world. But that Leo would agree to father a child with Zira? I sincerely doubt it. Our ways these days involve exceptional consent. Never mind the rituals both Leo and Zira would have to endure. I can't see him agreeing to Zira's demands. But she's clever, sly, and I'll keep a close eye on her. Their exchange doesn't seem like a friendly one, and I can't help but breathe an easier when Zira stomps off towards the long table where food and drink are being served. Leo doesn't even look after her as she walks away from him. Curiosity about their exchange tickles my solar plexus. Another thing to mention casually to him before the meeting tomorrow. Leo is a wonderful blend of the love of my life and myself, the best of both of us. Once again, my heart longs for my beloved's presence. But alas, it isn't possible, I know. I push such thoughts from my mind deliberately. My thoughts are still with my beautiful son while I nurse my drink, when a sudden disturbance occurs as the scientists we've invited arrives. I count 3 of them, including their coordinator and esteemed leader, Dr. Duncan Campbell. I recognize Dr. Alba Rossi and Dr. Ken Chu, too, if I'm not mistaken. At least they had the courtesy to ask permission for their drone display, which was denied and which they accepted with good grace. Nevertheless, my hand tightens on the staff, but I resist the urge to shield the clan's heart. Duncan's calm gaze skims over the dancers and those of us at the periphery of the circle, assessing, as always. Yet, when he sees Leo, something passes between them, a flicker of recognition I didn't expect. Zira and Anyara are among the members of our clan welcoming the scientists with glasses of cider and small bowls of berries and cheeses. I take another sip of my cider as I watch them, my thoughts returning to the discussions we've had about keeping our enemies close. But I'm truly surprised to see Leo handing a beaker of drink to Duncan and leading him aside. Leo's entire being is transformed. He smiles as he talks with Duncan. His handsome face lights up as they walk to stand in the space under the tree Leo had previously occupied. The branches obscure them somewhat, but the lights attached to the tree show their interaction. Duncan seems as animated as Leo, and again my curiosity rises. I didn't know they were such great friends. How and when did such a friendship develop, given the differences in our opinions, beliefs, work, and culture? Strange feeling comes to sit in my solar plexus when I see Leo's hand lingering on Duncan's upper arm. I can't be sure, but did the symbol on my chest react? Perhaps my reaction has its basis in what happened to my beloved Alalai. So that's the end of the first draft chapter of Mabon Yule. And I hope you enjoyed it and that you'll leave some feedback for me in the comments below. I'm so looking forward to hearing what you've got to say and whether you liked it so far. Now, here's the thing. If people came to see Tempus and they hear this, they'll be like, I recognize some of the characters, I recognize the setting, but that's all. Lots of things seem to have changed, and that is true. I am writing the 3 novels, the trilogy, based on the show, but I had so many ideas that I wanted to do that we couldn't do in the space of a play. So hopefully they'll all come out in the books now. So thank you for being here and for listening to this, and I look forward very much to hearing from you, and I shall speak to you soon. Mwah! Until next time.